The Rosetta Stone is an iconic symbol of Egyptian identity, and for many, it belongs in the Grand Museum. For more than 2 centuries, scholars have thought they found every secret it held until now. Deep in a secure laboratory in London's British Museum, beneath silent, watching cameras and the dim glow of artificial light, the Rosetta Stone sat under a precision AI scanner. Researchers weren't meant to find anything new. After all, this slab of granodiorite has been subjected to the scrutiny of experts since 1799. Its 3 scripts have been translated and analyzed and studied down to the tiniest mark cataloged, the slightest chisel stroke recorded. And then something appeared. AI detected microscopic indentations invisible to the naked eye, infinitesimal patterns that didn't resemble the marks of a tool or erosion. These markings were deliberate, organized, and coherent, forming symbols like nothing seen in known Egyptian scripts. They weren't hieroglyphics or Demotic or Greek. The discovery hinted that the purpose of the Rosetta Stone could be far more complex than anyone had ever imagined. For the first time in 196 BC, the stone seemed to speak again, and its message shook the world of Egyptology. To put this discovery in perspective, we go back to where it all started. July 15, 1799, in the sleepy town of Rosetta, or Rashid, at the place where the Nile empties into the Mediterranean. French soldiers, during Napoleon's campaign in Egypt, were expanding Fort Julian when they found a dark stone slab covered in inscriptions. Lieutenant Pierre-François Bouchard, noticing Greek letters among the carvings, recognized its potential importance and ordered it carefully excavated. The discovery was monumental, a 3-foot-8-inch, 2-ton artifact inscribed in 3 scripts, hieroglyphic at the top, Demotic in the middle, and Greek at the bottom. For centuries, it was thought to be made of black basalt, darkened by wax and chalk used by earlier curators to enhance its inscriptions. But after careful cleaning in 1999, its true nature emerged. It was gray-pink granodiorite from Aswan, shimmering with subtle mineral veins that told their own story. And yet, for all of its beauty, the stone was more of an intellectual treasure, a linguistic Rosetta Stone that bridged worlds, a key to the long-lost voice of civilization, silent for 14 centuries. The decree it carried was written 3 times in 3 languages for 3 audiences in an attempt to unify a divided empire that today challenges our entire understanding of ancient history. To understand the stone's content, we journey back to 196 BC. Egypt, long past its age of the great pharaohs, was ruled by the Greek Ptolemaic dynasty, descendants of Alexander the Great's general Ptolemy. The once mighty kingdom was now a hybrid society of Greek rulers and Egyptian traditions. On the throne sat a young king, Ptolemy the Epiphanes, only 12 years old. His reign began in chaos. His father murdered, his mother poisoned, rebellions rising in Upper Egypt, and foreign threats looming. The powerful priests, guardians of Egypt's spiritual authority, controlled as much influence as the monarchy itself. To secure his throne, the boy king struck a deal with him. At Memphis, the priests assembled in great synod to frame a decree that was to unify royal and religious authority. The text praised the virtues of Ptolemy: bounty, piety, remission of debts, gifts to the temples. In return, the priests proclaimed his divinity, promised to honor him with prayers, and declare his birthday a national feast. So that the decree should be permanent into eternity, it was ordered that it was to be written in 3 languages: hieroglyphic for gods, Demotic for the people, Greek for the rulers, on stones to be set up in temples throughout Egypt. One of those copies became the Rosetta Stone. It was never supposed to be unique, but just another official decree carved in stone. But this unremarkable bureaucratic tablet would turn out to change human history. Its tri-script inscription became the key to unlock the secrets of ancient Egypt and restore its lost language and voice to the modern world. Yet, as the latest discovery suggests, the story the Rosetta Stone tells on its surface might be only half of what it will eventually tell. What the AI revealed was simply astonishing. To appreciate the moment of this revelation, we have to go back to that day in July of 1799 at Fort Julian, where Lieutenant Bouchard, in wonder, looked upon a strange stone he had just uncovered. He may not have known what it was, but he knew it was important enough to report to his superiors. The stone was eventually transported with great care to Napoleon's Institute of Egypt in Cairo, where the commissioned scholars, nearly the best Napoleon had brought with him to study Egyptian antiquity, very quickly realized its potential. These men were not just soldiers on a military mission. They were scientists, artists, and historians in search of knowledge. Napoleon's ambitions reached well beyond the conquest. He wanted enlightenment. His scholars measured pyramids, sketched temples, collected artifacts, and documented a civilization in front of the British. France and Britain were not only fighting for control of Egypt's land, but also its intellectual legacy. The Rosetta Stone was copied immediately, detailed drawings, hand-traced reproductions, and even ink impressions taken directly from the stone. These copies circulated across Europe before the original ever left Egyptian soil. But when Napoleon's campaign finally collapsed and the British emerged victorious in 1801, the French were forced to cede their antiquities. The French scientists protested, threatening to destroy their findings rather than turn them over, but the British would not relent. Accounts differ. Some say the stone was smuggled toward Alexandria and seized at the harbor. Others claim it was taken under armed guard. Whatever the truth, the Rosetta Stone, originally inscribed with words of peace, became a prize of war. In 1802, it arrived in Portsmouth aboard HMS L'Egyptian and soon went on display at the British Museum. Crowds of people came to see the mysterious slab that promised to unlock the secrets of ancient Egypt. An artifact born of diplomacy, seized through conflict, now stood as a trophy of empire. When the Rosetta Stone reached Britain, many believed the age of mysteries was ending. In reality, it was only just beginning. For 1,400 years, Egypt's voice had been silenced. The last known hieroglyphic inscription dated to 394 A.D. Since then, centuries of silence came about. Temples were closed, priests vanished, and new religions brought new languages. Coptic, even though it was descended from ancient Egyptian, survived only in church liturgy. Medieval scholars could no longer read the symbols carved into Egypt's monuments. They could only guess. Horapollo, a 5th century Egyptian scholar, claimed hieroglyphs were purely symbolic. Hawks meant speed. Crocodiles meant evil. Europeans accepted this for centuries. In the 1600s, Athanasius Kircher imagined that the symbols held mystical, divine secrets. All were mistaken. Everything started to change with the Rosetta Stone. It bore 3 versions of the same text: Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphic, and it was a key. The Greek could be read. If scholars could match Greek to Egyptian, they could unlock the code. Antoine Isaac Sylvester de Sacy and Johann David Akerblad began in 1803, identifying names like Ptolemaeus and Arsinoe, thus proving that Egyptian writing could represent sounds. But progress was slow. Demotic script was cursive and hard to separate into words. Hieroglyphs were even more daunting, with hundreds of intricate symbols. Then came 2 brilliant minds, Thomas Young of Britain and Jean-François Champollion, of France, rivals bound together by obsession. Young was a polymath, fluent in many disciplines, and noticed that certain hieroglyphs seemed to appear inside oval shapes known as cartouches, which he suspected contained royal names. Using the Greek text for comparison, he matched one to Ptolemaeus, proving hieroglyphs could be phonetic. Yet, he still believed this applied only to foreign names. Champollion went further. Examining inscriptions from other Egyptian monuments in 1822, he came to a stunning realization. Egyptian names used phonetic symbols, and maybe all hieroglyphs did. The writing system combined sound and meaning. It was both phonetic and symbolic. Overcome with revelation, he burst into his brother's office shouting, "I've got it," before collapsing from exhaustion. Over the next few years, Champollion deciphered the complete system. The writing of hieroglyphics utilized sounds, symbols, and determinatives, silent signs that told the meaning. His comparative work with Coptic confirmed the link between ancient and later Egyptian language. By 1824, he published his complete translation, astonishing the academic world. For the first time in over a millennium, scholars could read the words of ancient Egyptians, their royal decrees, prayers, poems, and stories. A civilization once frozen in stone began to speak again. Champollion had given Egypt back its voice. In our times, another revolution is underway. Today's AI doesn't just translate, it interprets. It perceives subtle patterns beyond human reach, showing not merely what Egypt said but how it thought.